My name is Jennifer of Sew with Jennifer, and on today's tutorial I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this pleat or tiered layered skirt from start to finish. But before we proceed, if you're not a subscriber on here, kindly like, subscribe and click on the notification bell so you can be notified anytime I upload new videos. So let's get to it.
Pleated flared skirt, we're going to be needing 4 different Ankara pieces for this skirt. So I have this 4 different patterns of fabric, this 1, 2, 3 and 4, and each of the fabric measures 3 yards and 15 inches. You can see that this one is folded. I had to join it to give me the length that I want. That's the longness that I want. You can see that I folded this one, right? So it measures 3.5 yards and 15 inches, right? From here to here I have 6 inches. Same goes with the rest of the fabric that is here. So for this one, I have this one for the band. This is what we're going to be using for the band, and my band is 30 inches divided by 2, right? So for this band I added 3.5 inches to my waist measurement, because we're going to be putting zip for this skirt, right? So now we'll go ahead to the sewing machine. I'll show you how I went about to achieve the skirt. So before we move ahead to the sewing machine, I would want to show you how we're going to do this. So for the video that for our style inspo, right, they weave the hair. If you have weaving machine, you can weave the edges, but for me I'll go and sew it on my sewing machine like this, because I don't have a weaving machine. So if you have a weaving machine, you can proceed to weave all the tip, that's the down part of the pieces, right? Then you can weave this part, then this place will be pleated as shown in the video. So let's proceed to the sewing machine. So guys, I'll proceed to sew one part of this way. You see how long this is? Yes, this is 3.5 yards and 15 inches. Take note of that. So now I'll go ahead and fold it and sew. Don't forget that you can also weave it. You can also weave this if you have a machine. For me, I don't have. That's why I'm doing this. Whichever one you choose to do is fine. So guys, for the lining of this skirt, we're going to be making use of this lining, doll face fabric. Yes, this is what we're going to be using for the lining of this skirt. So if I were you, I would not skip any part of this video, right? I will not skip any part, because every part of this video has one information or the other that I'm going to share with you guys. So you don't want to miss the information. So moving ahead guys, the length of our skirt is 18, right? And we're going to reduce 2 inches for the band, because we're going to use our Ankara fabric for the band. So we're going to reduce 2 inches for the band, which is going to give us 16, right? So from the 16 inches we have for the skirt, we're going to reduce another 3 inches to get the skirt length, which is now going to give us 13 inches, right? So I'll put my 13 inches here. Yeah, I'm going to fold this part because I don't like this thing. So I'm going to put 13 inches here and 13 inches here, and then I'll connect my lines, right? That is why I said you should not miss any part of this video, right? So as we're moving ahead, as we're progressing, I'll show you how, or why we reduce the 3 inches we reduced from the length measurement, right? So this is going to be our base for where we're going to attach the pleats, right? You can either use pleats or you can use gathers, depends on you. But what we're working on, the picture or the video of what we're working on is pleats, right? There are some other ones that has gathers, right? So for this video we're going to be using the pleat, right? So now I have my skirt length, right? So what I have here, you are going to divide your hip measurements by 4, then you add extra 2 inches for ease, 12 and a half. So now we're going to cut this out. Now there's no shape for this skirt, right? So now I would fold another one and add my zipper allowance, right? My zipper allowance is 2 inches. So this is 2 inches and this is 2 inches. So for this one, I'll just fold a little bit here, right? So I'll notch here, right? So now I'm going to join one to this part and sew straight, and join the other one and sew it straight, like this, right? This is our zip allowance. So this skirt, don't forget, you can actually use your preferred length. Yeah, the preferred length to achieve this skirt. It doesn't matter what length you want. Whatever length you want is what you're going to use, and you're going to use your measurement, of course. So I'll go to the machine and sew this point straight down. I'll sew it by half inch on this part, half inch on this side, so that it will be one piece all together. So let's head over to the sewing machine. So guys, I am gone ahead to sew this part, and I am ironed it. Like I said, I've ironed my zip allowance. I've sewn it to be one piece. So now I would bring my pieces and I'll arrange it on this line to see how I want, or which of the fabric I want at the top. So because I'm using this one for the band, it's going to be at the top part, right? So I have placed my first fabric because the band is this fabric, right? So now I would pick another one. Okay, I want this one to be the second layer of the thread. So I'm going to put it underneath this. It goes like this, right? So after putting it underneath, right, I hope you can see this, right? So after putting it underneath the first one, I'll measure 4 inches on the one that is below, right? I'll measure 4 inches. Okay, it's not up to. So I'm doing this because I want to get the length of my skirt. I'll measure 4 inches. Okay, so perfect. This is 4 inches. Alright, so I'll go ahead and pin it. After pinning it, I'll introduce another one. I want this one to be next. Right? I want this one to be next. So I'll still go ahead and put it under here and measure 4 inches again. Another way to get this is you divide your hip measurement, you divide the lining, what you have here, from this point to this point, right? You divide it by 4 because the fabric we're going to sew on it are 4 pieces, right? You divide it by 4. Whatever you have is the distance at which you're going to chop to know where you're going to sew, right? That's the second, but I'm going to follow this method. So I'm going to measure this one to give me 4 as well. Okay, so I have 4 inches for this one. So I'll go ahead and pin, right? So now the last part will be this one. I want this one to be the last layer. So now I'll put it underneath this one again and get my 4 inches. So while I was sewing this, I realized that this is 4 inches. Okay. So while I was sewing this, yes, correct one. So while I was sewing this, I realized that the skirt was too short, the 18, right? So now we're going to be making use of the 19 now, and that's why I don't want you guys to miss any part of this video, right? So remember that we have 2 inches for the band, right? So I'm going to minus it and put it 2 inches and measure. Okay, I have, oh, this is almost 20 inches, right? So now I will adjust it up to get my 19 inches, right? So we have our 19 inches, and I'll pin it down as well. So this is how I want my layers to be, right? So I'll go again, minus 2 inches for the band. You see that I started already minus half like this, because I'm going to sew that part to the band, right? Minus 2 inches to the length is 18 and a half now. So I'll go down again, I'll push it down to give me that 19 inches that I want for the skirt. This is it, right? So I'll pin it. I'll confirm the measurement again and see. 2 inches and 19, right? So we have 19 inches that we want to use for our skirt length, right? So now I'll remove the pin. You see this point where this one started? This is where I'm going to, I'll chop that down and chop this part down. So I'll chop this one down, right? So now I would unpin everything, and these markings will give us a guide on what we're going to use. So from this point to this point, I have 4.5. Then I'll take the measurement down 4.5. So from this point to this point is 3.75. So from this point to this point is 4. So that is how I'll be taking it. So now I'll go and do my pleats on these lines. So I'll see you on my sewing machine. I would start my sewing, my pleat, from half an inch on this end. I'll mark half an inch and start my sewing. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want the zip part to be bulky when I want to fix the zip. So I'll start my pleat. I'll start sewing from here, but I'll start my pleat from here. The same thing applies to when you're sewing gathers. If you are doing gathers, it's either you do your gathers first, then you place it on your fabric and sew on it. So now I'll go ahead to start sewing. So when I get to half an inch here, I'll start my pleats. The same thing for your gathers. So I've gotten to my half inch. I'll lift my pleats. Then I'll do the same. I'll be pleating like that. Make sure you're not pleating too much so that your fabric will be enough. In a way that the things will be inside. Right? This is the right side and this is the wrong side. So we're going to sew on the wrong side like this. This is the wrong side, this is the right side, right? So we're going to sew on the wrong side of the Ankara fabric. So by the time we finish doing our pleats, when we turn it over, it's be like this, and the rough edges will be inside. So I'll go ahead and start doing my pleats. Just like this. On lines that we have created already. Welcome back from our ironing table. Yeah, so this is what we have after ironing, right? So now it's time to fix our band and to fix our zip, right? So for the band, like I stated earlier, I added 2 extra inches for the zip, right? So this is, I went ahead to iron stay on it so it can be very stable, right? So my band measures 2.5, 2.5, yeah. So I folded in ½ inch here on one part of it and left this part. But when you open it, it's going to give us 5. We have successfully slotted in all our excess inside this band. So now I'll go ahead to sew this down. So now I'll go in and fold this. Fold this in and cover it up. You see how neat is going to make your sewing look, right? So now this is what we have. I'll go ahead to fold this in and sew. So now I'll go ahead to join my 1.5 that we have for the zip allowance. This is the 1.5, right? So go ahead to sew it.